Love it. Nice. That's fun. Hey everyone, this is my new friend Steve, AKA Samurai Guitarist.
Hello.
Thanks so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. GuitCon 2018, version
GuitCon.
2, getting close to the end.
Yep.
And I thought I'd pick your brain a little bit, talk a little bit about this thing and how can we, or this and music really, not just guitar. How can we develop a better musicality, be better musicians without this when you're taking a walk or driving or whatever. So we both came up with a few tips that we're gonna discover. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I guess the concept is you can't have a guitar in your hands 24 hours a day, and sometimes whether you're sitting waiting for the bus or what have you, you want to ideally get a little bit better at music while you're doing some of these more monotonous, boring tasks in life. So here are some things that I've done over the course of my life. And I guess I'll start off with one that I really struggled with at first. I really struggled with ear training for a long time. And I realized a fair ways into my playing guitar that was an underdeveloped part of my musicality, especially since I grew up just looking at tabs. If I needed to learn a song, I didn't need to go and listen to the recording over and over again and try to figure it out by ear. I just could pull up a tab and do it. So I realized that I kind of needed to work on my ear training, and there was the active elements of that when I was with my guitar, practicing doing that stuff, but there were also times when I was just sitting around and I thought, you know what, here's something I can do while I'm doing this that will improve that. So my first tip for practicing without a guitar would be working on your ear training. And that can come in a bunch of different forms. I think a great thing to do is just practice singing up and down a major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then with that, once you're feeling good with that, then you can kind of try doing things like, can I sing notes from the major scale? Can I, if I have my do, can I then sing a melody that goes do, mi, re, do? Can I try going do, mi, fa, mi, re, do? Or you can think of it in terms of numbers, 1, 3, 4, 3, 1. Can I then sing 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, and just make up these, pick notes randomly from the major scale in your head and then see if you can sing them out loud. And then I guess even if you wanted to take it one step further, you could record yourself doing it and then check yourself later and see how close you actually came to it. Yeah. And then to even go further, I mean, there's a lot you can do here, and your creativity is kind of your only limitation. If you hear something on the radio, you can sing that back to yourself over and over again, and then try to figure out which notes are that in the major scale, and then go check yourself later and see how close you got.
Yeah, that's great. So that looks like when you're saying do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, just pick a random starting point, na, 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 do, re, mi, and then, do, re, mi, re,
re, do, and it's a do, mi, re, do,
right.
mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do, like that kind of thing. And try to make sure you can hear those things in your head without having to play it on guitar first.
Right, yeah, no, that's great. Very valuable. My tip is kind of along those lines. And this works especially if you're in the car listening to a song on the radio or whatever. We'll do it on the guitar first, and then I'll show you how it's done without a guitar. Let's say that, would you play a chord? Any chord, don't tell me what it is. Something perfect, I love it.
Here, I'll play something a little bit more. How about this?
Okay, so let's say we do have the guitar here. I'm jamming a little bit, searching some notes. Okay, these 3 notes work, for example, and I'm looking here and I've got 5, 6, and 8. So in my mind, go ahead, keep playing that chord. 5, 6, 8, 5, 6, 8. So you're driving in a car, coming up with something, la da da. Add some numbers to it, even if it's strong numbers, it doesn't matter. 5, 6, 8. Now play another chord, any chord. 5, 6, 6. Does 6 work on this? Yes, 6, 6. And I remember the 5, 5, 6, 8 still works. Play another one. I'll focus on the 5, 5, 5. Does that work or not? 5. If you don't think it does, try to go to the note just before, like 1 fret away, either lower or higher. 5, 5, 5.
It should also be noted that when you're saying 5, 6, 8, you're talking about the frets.
I'm talking about the frets.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. 5, 4. You kind of search 5, 6, 6. I like 6, 6. And you're kind of improvising with numbers. You have a starting point, and that will strengthen later on when you get on the guitar.
Yeah, cool. So you're saying that you're singing over top of something that's on the radio.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's
a random song. Yeah.
That's great. I think that's also just a huge thing to do, is just like sing along to things without even necessarily knowing what notes you're singing, and just see what comes out.
Yeah.
And even with the guitar, that's a great thing to do too. Just like start improvising, making up a vocal melody.
Yeah.
And even recording yourself. And I used to do this. I'd sing a vocal melody, record myself singing it, and then go figure out what I was playing later. And you're like, oh wow, I don't think I ever would have come across that if I had my guitar in my hands.
Yeah. It's crazy how your fingers kind of like take a mind of their own when you're playing. Whereas really, they should be slave to your, to your soul and mind. So yeah.
And the more, to me, mastery. And I've always kind of thought about what is mastery on the instrument. Because it's not necessarily technical ability. I would consider Pat Metheny a master, but I would also consider Neil Young a master.
Yeah.
And they're very different with what they do.
They are.
But to me, what makes them both masters is that they have connected what they hear perfectly simultaneously with what comes out of their fingers.
Yeah.
Now, what they hear in their mind and their inner musicality is very, very different. But what makes them masters of their craft is that connection between that. The more you can work on that connection, doing things like singing along to the radio, just can only benefit.
Yeah, I say this in my videos all the time. This is like your pencil. You're the author. Like the pencil doesn't say the story. You do.
Yeah, totally.
So, good. Got something else?
Okay, so here's another one, and this is more of a concept than something you actively practice, but there is practical applications, and it's, if you're a writer or somebody who is, for me, making YouTube videos is the center of what I do, but I walk around the world ready to receive ideas for these things. I don't just sit down and say, okay, time to come up with a song. I don't sit down and say, time to come up with a video idea. I walk around the world ready to receive those ideas, and whenever I do receive them, whatever happens to inspire me, and it can be anything, especially if you're a songwriter. Anything can inspire you. It could be the way that a door opens could inspire you, and I say that just because that's what I saw over there.
Yeah.
But that could be something that just creates some sort of spark in you. And normally, most people would walk around the world oblivious of these things. But as creatives, or as people who want to express themselves through song, you need to be ready to be inspired at any given moment. I think how you turn that on in your brain is you make a conscious effort to do so, but the more you make a conscious effort, the more just it happens naturally. The more you train yourself to be receptive to things that can inspire something later. And when you do come across one of these things, whatever it happens to be, maybe it's a sign that you see on the street, just you jot it down. You write. Everyone has a phone in their pocket.
Yep.
If you're old school and you got a notepad, even better. But just you jot it down, and so then when it's time to go and write a song or come up with a video idea, you have a list of things that you can draw from. You don't just you're not just under the gun to be inspired on the spot.
Yeah.
So that would be my tip: is just be ready and try to receive. Put your radar up so that you can bring in these ideas.
Yeah, that's like an awareness of what's going on. creative. That's really good.
And
that's
the first,
awesome.
it just starts with making an effort to do so. Just trying to do it.
Yep.
A cool tip that I heard, I can't remember exactly where I heard it from, was the first thing you can do when you wake up in the morning is do something creative, just some writing. If you're a songwriter, just write stream of conscious for 1 minute. You're never going to get much great stuff from that, but what that does, it awakens that thing first thing in the morning. And so that for the rest of the day, that little thing, that mechanism in your brain is a little bit more aware of anything that can possibly inspire you.
It's very good. I like it. I'll try that.
Yeah.
All right, my next tip is a visualization tip. Visualizing mentally what should be going on your instrument. So you need to know your instrument somehow. You need to be aware of the tuning. Like this is drop D, so that kind of messes up my visualization. But just like picturing a simple musical idea, could be a riff, could be a melodic thing, a chord, a known song or not, and just imagine, all right, how would I play this on the fretboard? And there's going to be multiple answers. You can play the same pitch in multiple places here, but just make that conscious effort to associate the musical thought inside. You can vocalize it if you want with what should happen here with your hands, because playing guitar is more than just putting your fingers here and there. There's like a whole bunch of muscles involved, tendons, and it's just very much like when you're learning a new language. Your tongue has to go a certain way to make those sounds, the throat, all those things. And if you're aware of it, that'll make things much easier later when you get on the instrument and practice this. And you can also just air guitar it as you're doing something. It's got to be simple because you have to remember it, because you want to play that thing when you grab a guitar to kind of check with yourself. But if you do this 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes a day, that will really strengthen what we were talking about, where we're thinking of the musical thought and then delivering with the fingers, singing your lines. But that starts with no guitar at all, just picturing what's going on, and you'll see that the learning curve will speed up.
Yeah. One of the things I'll do, if I learn a solo, and that's one of the, I think an important thing to do is just like learn someone else's music note for note.
Yeah.
And then if I need to, sometimes I'll just be sitting there and I'll just see if I can imagine myself playing it, if I can see those notes. And for me, guitar is very, very visual. I see patterns and stuff like that. So I'll just be thinking to myself, okay, can I remember how to play that? Can I imaginarily play that in my mind?
Yeah, that's very good. So you guys take these tips. If you guys have any others, let me know below.
Yep, leave a comment.
And people know where to find you, but in case they don't,
youtube.com/Samurai Guitarist.
Awesome stuff. Thanks so much, Steve.
And thank you for having me.
See you guys later.